This is the Imperial Garrison. What's your call sign, pilot?
It's... Say something. Rebel Rock Radio.
Rebel Rock Radio? There is no Rebel Rock Radio.
Well, there is now.
From the far reaches of the Outer Rim to the city planet of Coruscant, it's the podcast that gives you sweet jams and all those pop culture hits. It's Rebel Rock Radio.
Hello, everybody out there. It's Rebel Rock Radio time. And this is episode number 120, I don't know, 9? Somewhere in there?
Yeah.
Let's see. We've got Chantal from Pop My Culture in the chat room. So welcome back to the show. And with me, as always, of course, is DJ. How's it going today?
Hey, somehow DJ returned. So, yes, I am back.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that was Dave that was in last week, right? Want to make sure I got my weeks right.
Yep. That was Dave.
All right, Dave. And they talked about Star Trek in my absence, which is a good thing because I am not a Star Trek fan at all.
Oh, wow.
So yes, thank the maker that Dave was able to help us out. It was actually his topic, and we'll get more into that here in a little bit. But hey, so far I'm doing okay. I'm awake right now, so yeah.
That's a good start.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Dragon Buddy's in the chat too. Hey, Dragon Buddy, how's it going? All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and start off with our first song of the night. And we're back to doing the which one did DJ pick? So out of the 3 songs we play, you're going to have to figure out which one DJ picked. Our
This
first
one's
track.
tricky.
Yeah, it is tricky. There's a lot of good ones today. This one comes from Chicago, Illinois, by a band called the Bollweevils. And they just released a new album on actually they released it on May 5th, so it's pretty new. And it's called Essential. That was released via Red Scare Industries, and it's actually their first album since 1995.
Wow.
In 1995,
Nice there.
yeah. I mean, they've got a lot of appearances on other stuff like splits and compilations. But Heavyweight in 1995 was the last album they released. So this one just came out on May 5th. It's called Essential. And the first single from that is what we're going to play. It is called Predisposition.
You see the best of everything. At least you tell yourself. You turn a blind eye to suffering. You'll never get my help. I highly doubt that we could change. It must be ingrained in our DNA. Why we can try to see with different eyes. Cause we harbor deep inside. Well, misery loves company. At least you tell yourself.
All right. Predisposition by the Bollweevils.
I like that song. It's upbeat. It's kind of short, but it has a lot of energy in it, which is energy that I need energy right now. So I really enjoy that one.
So the interesting factoid there, the bass player for that band is also the bass player for a band that you may have heard me mention. I've never played them on here, or have I? No, I don't even know. A band called the Methadones. I know I've mentioned them, but I can't remember if I've ever actually played them on here. I should probably do that. So real quick, we have somebody that is going to be a special guest for just a few brief seconds. So give me a second here, and let me pull them out of the green room.
My buddy Earl.
He cannot be awake for this. He's busy. Yeah, he doesn't want to. He's busy sleeping. He doesn't want to hang out with us. Earl, our official mascot.
Oh, official. It definitely is official.
It's official.
Yeah.
Oh man. So let's see. We've got a few more additions. Mommy is in the chat room. Welcome back. And I thought I saw somebody else here just a second ago.
Isaac.
Oh, Isaac. Yep. And Isaac is in the chat room.
Welcome, Isaac.
So starting to fill up. And Mommy says hi to Earl. So and Chantal says baby. Yeah, he's one of our babies. He is the one who spends most of his time outside the house. Chantal, you and your leopard print logo. I don't know where Blue is. He had mentioned something about coming on with us, but I don't know. Maybe he's being lazy and just sleeping tonight.
Who knows?
Oh, okay. So do you want us to call you Dina or Mommy? I'm confused now. Anyway. So yeah, we are celebrating the hey Spencer. I guess how the official, or I guess the unofficial. I don't know. It's Star Wars Day, but
it is.
May 4th was Star Wars Day too. But today
every day is Star Wars Day.
Every day is Star Wars Day. But this is a special Star Wars Day because it is the anniversary of the release of not only the one that started it all, A New Hope. Back then, of course, it was just called Star Wars. And then 40 years ago today was the theatrical release of Return of the Jedi.
Wow. Man, it just makes me feel old. 40 years.
Yeah. It's brings back some memories. So, what's been I know part of what's been going on with you this week, but do you have anything else?
Well, I guess I should mention that. It's kind of like the elephant in the room.
It is the elephant in the room. I didn't want to say anything about it, so I figured if you wanted to talk about it, you can talk about it. Hey, Ubaldo.
Ubaldo! Now the party is started.
It is.
I didn't type
Ubaldo and Earl. Wow. In
All
one
right.
show.
So just for management and everything, if people see me looking off to the screen, I have a split screen here, so I have the chat over on this side so I can communicate with everybody, and then of course the camera's here, so I'm going to do a lot of head movement anyway. So last week I went down to Houston. That's scary. All right. anyway, yeah. So I went down to Houston, went to MD Anderson Cancer Center, and because I've been having some trouble, and got another super duper ultrasound, and they discovered that I do in fact have thyroid cancer, and amongst other things, and cysts and growths and stuff that are on my thyroid. So that's issue number one. I'll be contacting a surgeon. We'll hopefully be getting that removed, hopefully soon. And while they're in there, they also checked around my neck area. Since I've already had stage 4 lymphoma, they wanted to get an update on the lymph nodes, just make sure everything was going okay there. And everything was not okay there. There's a pestering lymph nodes very near where the thyroid cancer is, so it makes me wonder. But it appears that the lymphoma has returned after a 28-year absence, kind of like Palpatine. But similar to like Luke Skywalker, we shall defeat this Palpatine type thing, and the good will triumph over the dark, and everything will be all right. So that's where I've been. It's kind of why I've been tired a lot. My voice, whereas it's pretty good right now, by the end of the stream, I'll probably have to not talk or anything after the rest of the night, but that's okay. But that's what I've been up to. Fun and excitement and work, continues, and all that. What have you been up to this week?
Not really a whole lot of anything. I've been playing some video games and doing a lot of reading. Still doing some, catch up reading on comic books and work. And yeah, that's a bit of it. Not really a whole lot, but I do hope that everything goes well with your surgery and your treatment, because we need to knock that crap out. Just like Chantal said, fuck cancer.
Yeah.
Nasty stuff. It's very indiscriminate. And
yeah, I mean, they caught it early, so it's not that big of a deal, at least I don't think. I've been through worse. It just kind of sucks, and I know the road that's ahead. And it's not pleasant, but it's something that I can overcome. So
yeah, you got this. So yeah, not really a whole lot else going on with me. I don't know if I told you this or not. I think I may have, but did I tell you that my oldest daughter and son-in-law and the kids are moving back to Michigan?
Yes.
Okay. I couldn't remember who all told about that. Yeah, the son.
You're not moving back, are you?
No, I'm not going back. No, we're not moving again. No, the son-in-law got a really good job offer, and they couldn't turn it down. And so yeah, there you are. Actually, we've known about this for a month or two or something, and this weekend is when they leave. So, well, actually, the son-in-law is already there.
Yeah,
and he is because he started the job already. And Dina, are you leaving us? But he is actually flying in tonight so that they can finish packing up and loading up the truck and whatnot.
Right.
So yeah, it's kind of a bummer. I mean,
it just gives you an excuse to go visit Michigan. That's all. It gives you.
I suppose
now you get to go up there and go travel.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, I don't think I mentioned this last week. Maybe I did. I will not be going to Chicago this year for Riot Fest. I'm sure that I'll go up there for Scarif Con if that happens. Make sure I try to go up there for that. But I want to say it's in September. There's actually an X-Men convention going on.
Oh, you were telling me about that.
In Minneapolis. So since I'm not going to Riot Fest, I think I may actually go up there. I've never been to an X-Men convention. And Chris Claremont is going to be there.
Ooh.
So, I mean, he's not getting any younger. So if I ever want to get an autograph of any sort by Chris Claremont, now would be the time to do it.
Right.
But yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So let's get our housekeeping out of the way. We are part of the Red 5 network. Great network full of awesome podcasts. If you have a hobby or an interest, I can guarantee you there's a podcast out there for you on this network.
Absolutely.
And as you can see scrolling underneath me, there is a link for those of you listening. It is bio.link/red5. And that is a link to all of the podcasts that you can find on the Red 5 network. So check those out and support them in whatever manner you choose. If you want to support us, there are several ways you can do that. If you are watching us on YouTube, make sure you first and foremost subscribe to our channel and smash that like button.
Bong.
Yes, and ring the bell. So that will notify you when there is an episode coming up, and you will not miss it. And if you choose to also want to leave a comment on the episodes, feel free to do that as well.
Yes, please leave comments. We will get back to all the comments. So leave all the comments you want. We'll respond.
Yeah. If you leave a comment, we will we talk about it on the air. Let's see. What's another way they can support us? They can support us by buying our merchandise at our TeePublic site. And there is the link right there. It is teepublic.com/user/rebel-rock-radio. We also have a link to it on our bio link that is in the show notes. But we have t-shirts and we have coffee mugs. Very important. And then I found out just recently we actually have hoodies too.
Yes.
I did not realize we had hoodies, but we do have hoodies. I don't have a Rebel Rock Radio hoodie, but I need to rectify
I need
that.
to get one, although it's summertime now, so who needs a hoodie in the summer? But
I wear them anyway. Yeah. And then the other way that you can support us is by contributing to our Patreon. You can be one of our patrons for as little as $1 a month. And you can get there by going to patreon.com/Rebel Rock Pod. There's a link to that also on our bio link, which is in the show notes. But yes, you can be a patron for as little as $1 a month and help us keep the lights on.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like I was saying earlier, we have different tiers. We start off at 1 and we go up from there. One of our patrons, Dave, was actually on last week replacing me because he's on a tier that allows him to pick a show topic. And he was actually, not only did he pick it, he got to guest star on the show and talk about said topic, which was Star Trek. Okay. I did listen to it. It was a very good episode. You guys did wonderfully. But hey, if that kind of stuff interests you, hop on that train. There's plenty of room, and suggest a topic and we'll fit it into our schedule.
Absolutely. F class
Shirts in
heroes.
the mail, Spencer. Shirts in the mail.
Yeah. You haven't, yeah, just keep thinking you're going to get a free shirt. Ain't going to happen, dude. You know how expensive those things are? F class heroes just jumped in the chat. So welcome back to the chat.
F class heroes.
Okay. Now, speaking of Patreon, I would like to give a shout out to those that are already a member of that
Illustrious
elite club that is our patrons. So thank you goes out to Dave, Kelly, Chris, Don, Nicholas, Scott, Kim, Amanda, Mandy, Justin, Charlie, and Chantal. We do appreciate your support, and yeah, thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Yes.
All right. I don't think we have any announcements to speak of. Nothing really exciting. So let's go ahead and move on to another song. How about that?
Let's do it.
So this one comes from Los Angeles, California, and the band is the Dollyrots. They just released a single back in April via Wicked Cool Records. I love the name of that record label. And so we're going to play that single. It is Still Holding On by the Dollyrots. Enjoy. right. Still Holding On by the Dollyrots.
Awesome song.
You didn't like my suggestion in the chat room about the merch.
I expect that from Tina. I mean, but
where is Tina anyway?
I'm not sure.
In my defense, Chantal started it. She's the one that was asking for lingerie.
Yeah. No, see, that tracks. That tracks.
Oh, Dragon Buddy says he hangs out with Shanty and me. It's Tina's fault.
Yeah.
Extra small for our most enlightened fans. Bad influence. Agreed. I used to be such a nice boy. Oh, that's a lie. All right. What time is it now? It is time for Rebel Rock Radio Picks, where we pick something that we have read, watched, listened to, or played. I guess a video game. We could talk about a video game if we wanted to. Yeah. And we suggest it to you and hope you enjoy it as much as we did. Do you have anything this week, DJ?
I do. In fact, I was just trying to. All right. So, my pick for this week is actually a costume club.
Oh.
So, very similar to like the 501st, but it's not the 501st. It is the Mandalorian Mercs Costume Club. So if you've ever been interested in cosplaying as a Mandalorian, which is all the rage now, thank you to the hit show. But I mean, you can go anything from Jango Fett, Boba Fett throughout all of his different iterations. It's a costume club, so you gather the materials. There's all sorts of things. You can either buy them, you can make them. There's tips and tricks on how to do this, how to do flight suits, how to do armor, how to do a helmet, or you can actually just they even have links on there where you can buy them. But of course, there are rules that govern this group. It is non-for-profit, like the 501st. But instead of the Empire or the Rebel Legion, this is just the Mandalorian Mercs. So every country pretty much has representation. For me, it's the Varang clan, which covers the El Paso, New Mexico, probably Lubbock. So this part of the country, I believe it's South Central part. Really awesome guys that are in there, and girls as well. And really fun to talk to, knowledgeable about Star Wars, about Mandalorians, and just get together, hang out, have a lot of fun, bringing smiles to people. So that's very, very important. In fact, here is, I don't know if this will show up very well, but this is the concept of one that I want to build.
Very cool.
See?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a lot of fun. Really great group of people, really supportive. Just looking for people that want to join in the fun. And as nerdy as our listeners are, this is right up their alley.
Well, Denise, who has been on the show a couple of times, she is in the Mandalorian Mercs in Oklahoma. And I think we were actually planning on having her come on with a fellow Mandalorian Merc member to talk about the group. Like that would be the topic of the show. So looking forward to that show, actually.
Yeah. I knew we talked about it. I didn't know if we ever finalized it or anything, but
we haven't scheduled it, but we'll get there. Cool. Well, that's a good recommendation. And a link to the Mandalorian Mercs website will be in the show notes. My recommendation, I think we've talked about this a few times in the past few weeks about my reading of the current X-Men run. And I just recently finished the current run of X-Force. And that is it's probably my favorite title of all of the current X-Men stuff that I've read. Really good run. And basically in this one, X-Force is kind of they're almost like a paramilitary, almost CIA in a way, like a CIA special ops group for the country of Krakoa, which is where all the mutants live now. So they're kind of a special ops unit, and they just released issue number 40 last week. So I'm caught up on that, and it's really good. It's a really good run, and if you enjoy X-Men comics and haven't read any of the new stuff, I wouldn't suggest you start there. I would at least start with House of X and Powers of 10. But after that, jump into the X-Force book and get caught up with that, because it's a really good run. It's written by Benjamin Percy, who also writes the Wolverine comic book.
Cool.
But yeah, really good stuff there. And I've got a link to kind of I think it's the Marvel .com website focused on that run. So if you want to check that out, good stuff. All right. Well, that is it for Rebel Rock Radio picks for this week. We'll have some more next week. And now we have our final tune of the night before we jump into our discussion about Return of the Jedi.
Let's do it.
All right. This song comes from Boston.
Yeah, buddy.
And this is from a band called Justine and the Unclean, who I think we've played a couple of years ago. We played one of their songs. It's because the name sounds really familiar when I came across it. But yeah, they just released a new single back in April on Red on Red Records. That's a Boston-based record label. A lot of really good stuff on that one. And we're going to play that single, and it is called Chasm. So I hope you enjoy that song. Here we go.
The humming of the bees on a warm summer day, but they've taken down the trees and they've taken you away from me. A
All right, that was Justine and the Unclean with Chasm.
I like that one too. It's a little more chill than the other two. The symbol is on point on that one. So kudos to the drummer. So yeah, I really liked it. Plus, her voice was really really cool. Did I like it enough where I picked it though? I don't know. Tough choice this week. I listened to all three, but I did pick one. Which
You
one?
did pick one of them.
Yep.
So we got another view of Earl there.
Earl
Still sleeping,
and, we also have Nicole and Megan in the chat. So welcome.
Very cool. All right. So let's talk about Return of the Jedi.
Awesome.
So as we mentioned earlier, this is the 40th anniversary of the theatrical release of Return of the Jedi. So we are happy to be able to celebrate the 40th anniversary on our show tonight. This is actually your favorite Star Wars movie, isn't it?
It is. It is my absolute favorite. In fact, I even watched it. Listened to it while I was working today. It's just so good.
Yeah. Me and Blue saw the theatrical re-release just a few weeks ago, and that was a lot of fun. It was really cool to have that experience. But yeah, I remember when that came out in the theater because I remember going to see it with my mom and dad on opening night at a theater that was inside a mall. And the line was just crazy to get in. But yeah, I just memories of that particular movie. I never did see like when the special editions came out. I didn't see it then, but I saw the original.
Yeah.
But yeah, we saw the re-release a few weeks ago, and that was a lot of fun.
Nice. Yeah. My mom took me to go see Return of the Jedi when it came out. She took me to see the first two. So that was cool to see the trilogy with her. And the re-releases in 1997, I did get to see that. In fact, I was supposed to be in college in my classes. And I was also going through cancer the first time and just really didn't want to focus on anything remotely near college like. So
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I'm going to go watch Return of the Jedi. And I sat in the theater and I think I watched it 3 times in a row, talked to the manager, and he's like, yeah, I'm not even going to charge you. Just go ahead. I paid for my snacks and he just let me sit there and enjoy it. Absolutely loved most of it. Some of it I really didn't like, but we'll talk about that later. But yeah, and unfortunately, I live in the middle of nowhere now, so no theaters near me showed the re-release this year. But that's all right. I have it on Disney Plus and can watch it whenever I want to.
This is completely off the subject, but it wouldn't be Rebel Rock Radio without that. Didn't you mention at one time that you were maybe moving to Dallas?
It was a possibility.
Okay. No longer a possibility?
Not as of right now. No, that was work when I moved. I guess it was last year when I moved over to the pipeline side. They thought about having it in my position in Dallas. And they decided, you know what, I'm already here. We'll just leave you there. So they left me here.
Bummer.
So
that would have been cool for you to be in Dallas. Are you by chance Wiseman?
Yes, I am.
Okay,
I
okay,
am
'cause-
the wise man. I am
'cause I
also the blueprint. So get it right, Swole. Get it right.
So so he says, I only started watching this because of you, Wiseman, but now I generally get excited and enjoy watching you guys every week walk again. That's awesome. Thanks.
Yeah. F-Class Heroes and I go way back. Known each other for years. So I was really glad to see that him and his co-host Rev have started a podcast, and they have their Discord, and we talk a lot of wrestling and a lot of everything over there. They have some really cool stuff coming out here in the near future, and expanding their channel and their brand. But yeah, I am also known as the Wise Man or as the Blueprint. Yeah, no shame there.
All right. Megan says is telling F-Class they need to join the Rebel Rock Radio Discord. She is right. There's some fun over there, and shenanigans do ensue.
Yeah,
it's crazy over there.
We do.
Yeah. All right, back to Jedi.
Yeah, guys, nobody wants to go to California, Megan. Or no, we'll go to visit. We don't want to live there.
Yeah, I mean, I thought about going out there for Galaxy's Edge, but they have that in Florida too. So I don't know.
I'll be there in July to see Galaxy's Edge.
Very cool. I'm jealous. Alrighty.
Yes.
All right. Return of the Jedi. What do you want to talk about next?
It came out May 25th, 1983. For all you youngsters out there, that most of you probably weren't even born yet.
Whippersnappers.
Yeah, get off my lawn. It was written by George Lucas and what was his name? Kasdan. And it was directed by Richard Marquand. Hopefully I said that right. I'm horrible at pronouncing names. Richard Marquand. Distributed by 20th Century, which is like the big Searchlight things that everybody is really familiar with. It's when the movie opens up. And its original intake at the box office was $482 million. I don't even know what that translates to today, but that's a crap ton of money. So there's some nuts and bolts for you for Return of the Jedi. Anything you want to add to that?
I was actually going to ask. I wonder what that translates in today's dollars, but it's a lot. No, that's a pretty good little introduction to Return of the Jedi. I think you wanted to talk a little bit about the crawl.
Give me 1 second.
If you had the video, you should have sent it to me, and I could have played it.
Oh, I didn't know if we'd get in trouble for that or not.
Good point. Yeah, maybe we shouldn't.
Yeah.
We're already in enough trouble as it is.
Right? Yeah, I'm telling you. All right, so now see, that's not. I was trying to find it. So basically, just double it. I believe 1,083,000 is about 3 million today. So triple that. So you're looking at over $1 billion. 1.2 billion. That in today's money is how much Star Wars has made. So sorry, you mentioned numbers and I had to figure it out. All right. So yeah, the crawl. The crawl reads as thus: Luke Skywalker has returned to his home planet of Tatooine in an attempt to rescue his friend Han Solo from the clutches of the vile gangster Jabba the Hutt. Little does Luke know that the Galactic Empire has secretly begun construction on a new armored space station, even more powerful than the first dreaded Death Star. When completed, this ultimate weapon will spell certain doom for the small band of rebels struggling to restore freedom to the galaxy. So there is the opening crawl for Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, so you talked a few weeks ago with some I think it was fellow Red 5 podcasters about the deleted scenes.
Yes, we're on after the weekend with JT. R2 was out, so Ro and I filled in, and we talked about there were quite a few deleted scenes. Some of them fit together; they're kind of separated, but at least on like on YouTube, if you go to Return of the Jedi deleted scenes, it takes like 4 minutes to watch them all. Some of them fit together actually really well. Some of them worked. Some of them did not.
Some of them, as I watched them, like, yeah, I see why he deleted them.
yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. So yeah, the opening crawl. You just came off of seeing Han Solo get taken away by Boba Fett, frozen in carbonite, and wondering, what's going to happen next. And this one was a really good. Overall, the movie was a really good conclusion to that trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
I got to say, probably one of my, I'm probably going out of order here, but as far as the Death Star goes, I actually like the look of this Death Star in this one.
Yes.
Better than the original, actually. I just like the way it looks. It looks like, I know it's like basically not complete, so that's why it looks the way it does. But it just looks cool.
Yeah.
And I actually have a tattoo of that Death Star on my arm. I don't know if I can. Kind of. Yeah, I don't. There we go. There we go. Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, it's I really like that Death Star.
It actually makes it, to me, it makes it more believable that, it really hasn't been that long since the first one blew up. And as massive as they are, this thing is going to take a long time for it to get built. And it's about 3/4 of the way done. So, that they immediately either started it beforehand or really put some work in to get it to at least to this point as well.
Megan, of course you have that as a tattoo. My theory, because you got to look at it this way. It took them nearly 20 years to finish the first one.
Yeah.
And actually probably a little bit longer than that, because they started it, like the concept happened before the Clone Wars.
Correct.
So, give or take a few years, we're talking 20 years to get the first one built. My theory is that once they realized that they could do it, they probably started construction on another one right away. So I don't think that one, I don't think they started construction right after the Death Star was destroyed. I think it had already been under construction.
So, do you remember the EU origins of the Death Star?
I do not.
All right. So, and I actually agree with this theory. I think that this one holds more with what at least with time frames. So in the EU, over close to Kessel in the mall, where they, where and they even showed it in Solo. So he went through like the black hole type thing in order to get to the other side in 12 parsecs or whatever.
Right.
So in that area, there was a secret military base of the Empire, and they had 3 Death Stars in various stages of completeness.
Okay.
And so, as if one blew up, the first one blew up, all right, we're going to move out this other one. We're going to we'll concentrate. We're going to move it out of here, get it to where it can actually be used and easier to be built. And so I think that's to me at least that makes more sense. It was probably already had started because it had a similar design as the first one. The exhaust port was just a little bit bigger in this one because they flew right into it. So I think that's
it didn't have the covering.
Yeah.
They
just flew in through this the superstructure into the infrastructure and blasted it away. But yeah, I think that makes a lot more sense, especially if it took 20 years or so for the first one to be built. They already probably had other ones in various, hey, here's model number 1, here's model number 2.
Yeah.
We're going to pull this out. That makes more sense to me. But, what do I know? That's EU now. It doesn't even count.
Yeah, it counts. Maybe not to
me.
Disney. Maybe not to Disney, but the fans it counts.
Right.
You wanted to talk about the settings of the movie. So obviously, we start off with the Death Star. And then we go on to Tatooine.
Yeah.
And then for the most part, there really aren't a whole lot of locations in this movie. You've got the Death Star, you've got Endor, you've got Tatooine, and other than that, you've got what am I thinking of? You've got wherever the rebels were holed. I guess they were actually. I don't think they were at a specific location. I think they were just on their ships.
Yeah, and basically, what my thoughts there were. So we have Star Wars. We basically have 2 environments. We have the desert, which is half of the battle, and we have the Death Star, which is mechanical and gray and black and white, and so you have this brown and then gray, black, and white for the settings that we have, just the aesthetics of it. Then we have Empire. Empire starts off where it's white, all white, everything, it's an ice planet. Then you have your space scenes. You have a little bit of Dagobah that's in there, and then you have Cloud City. And again, it's cloudy. It's not, some of it was bright. They tried to make it look, as cool as they could. But, as far as locations go, that it was, you go from brown and black and white to a little bit of green, but mostly white in Empire. And then Return of the Jedi, you have pretty much a combination of everything at the very beginning. You have the black and white, you have the Dagobah, you have the Tatooine brown, And then the last part of the movie, the last half of the movie, is either spent green on Endor or on the Death Star, and it goes back and forth between space and black, Death Star, or the heavy greens. And I just think it's pretty interesting how every movie has a different color code to it that we haven't seen before.
Yeah.
Even the prequel trilogy had a very similar type of thing. You had Tatooine, and you had Naboo, and then you had
Coruscant.
and you had where the arena was with the droid planet.
That was in the second one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's
okay.
Yeah, so the second one you had
Geonosis.
Naboo, or not Naboo, you had Coruscant, and then the Geonosis. And then in the third one you had Coruscant.
In the second one you also had Camino.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, but not for very long.
No, you didn't.
And then the third one, you have Naboo again, and you have, Mustafar was at the end, and Coruscant. So, it's just the way that they did the color schemes was very, very intriguing to me on how it picked it up. And you have your desert planets in space, and then you have ice planets in space, and then a little swamp. And then in this one, you have thick forests in space, and bring back the desert for a little cameo. There. So it's pretty interesting on how George Lucas set this type of thing up. To me, the closest comparison would be like Avatar, or the way that Avatar is going with trying to think of the planet name.
Pandora.
Pandora. And then you have, you're in the jungles of Pandora. Then you're in the oceans, and the next one is supposed to be, I think, fire. And then they're going to have another one. So each movie has a different element theme to it. So it's pretty interesting, at least for me.
Another thing that I think we did not mention is when we first started talking about it tonight is where were they filmed? Where was Return of the Jedi filmed? Do you know the answer?
Sorry, I had a internet glitch. Are you still there?
Okay. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Good. It says that I'm looking at our friend the Wikipedia, and it was filmed in England, and it was also filmed in Yuma, Arizona, for the Tatooine exteriors. And then this one I actually knew. They filmed a lot of the indoor stuff in the redwood forest of Northern California.
Yes.
And then they did a bunch of what they call blue screen shots in San Rafael, California. So various filming locations as well. Interesting. It says Darth Vader's funeral was filmed at Skywalker Ranch. Very cool.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, yeah, we got a lot of settings on here. A lot of different locations. What was your favorite location in the movie? Uh-oh. I think we lost him. Let's give him a minute. His internet's acting up today, I think.
Yeah, it is. I think my VPN crashed on me, so it's throwing fits. Give me one second.
No, it wouldn't be Rebel Rock Radio without the technical difficulties.
Right?
But
Talk
as
amongst
far
yourself while I get this fixed.
well, as far as locations go, I probably have to go with Tatooine, just because it's kind of a throwback to the original film, and you kind of start this movie with, like I said, you're going to see Jabba the Hutt. So what, Isaac, you said there's we'll get to your question in a minute, Isaac. But yeah, I kind of enjoyed the Tatooine sequences myself.
It was cool. I don't think I can really pick a favorite, just because we see so many that are almost familiar. You have that callback feeling. So you get Tatooine, which was cool to see. You get the Dagobah scene, which was cool to see. You get a whole new place in Endor, which was that was cool to see. And of course, the bridge on this Death Star was absolutely amazing. I loved the layout of it. So if I have to pick a favorite, it'd probably be on the Death Star on that bridge. One, for the architecture and the importance of it. To me, was just absolutely amazing. They could have had a shield bunker on any sort of planet type that they wanted to, whether it was a water planet or anything. But there was only one bridge of this Death Star, and the way that the frame behind the Emperor's throne was really super cool to see, and how you could see through the glass and you see the fleet that's out there and they're having battle. And it was just really cool. So if I had to pick, I would pick that one, the Death Star command bridge.
Now that you mention the fleet that's outside the Death Star, one thing I remember about when this movie first came out and the first couple of years after it had been out, I just remember how epic that battle was. The Battle of Endor, specifically the space battle, how epic it was. By today's standards, it wasn't. There's battles that have been way more epic, but at the time, it was just such an epic battle, and you're basically playing for all the marbles here, and it was great. But yeah, I agree with you on the Death Star. I did really like the how they set up the throne room, and I remember thinking, like, who are these red guys? And I mean, we got like nothing except they're basically just guards, and you're thinking, okay, well, these are throwaway guys, until you get into the EU and you find out about these royal guards. And you find out more about them. Their story is way more interesting than what you got from Return of the Jedi. But I don't remember. I don't think we saw those in Empire. I'm pretty sure we did not see those in Empire.
They were not in Empire, no.
So we see them for the first time in Return of the Jedi, and you gotta, they just stand out because you've got Darth Vader in black, you've got all the stormtroopers in white, and you got the Emperor that's also in black, and then you've got these guys sticking out like a sore thumb. You're like, okay, why? What's the deal here?
Right? Yeah. And that's cool. And that kind of goes into one of our next topics that we had was just the different characters that showed up in this movie. This really showcased the alien races probably more than any of the other ones. Star Wars, sure, the Cantina Band was there, but for the most part, everybody was humanistic, at least.
Yeah.
And then Empire, about the only ones that you got there were bounty hunters, I guess.
You got the Wampa.
Wampa. But to me, that really was.
That's not really a character.
That was just to me a beast that had to be defeated. But you get to see Yoda with Yoda species. You get the bounty hunters that are there. But for the most part, it's Imperial officers and the Rebel Alliance going back and forth with each other.
Yeah.
Lobot, I guess maybe, but he was still humanistic. You got to see some, I guess, Ugnaughts. You got to see that were in Empire, but in this one, I mean, you had the Imperial Guard, which who knew what kind of race they were, but it was a specifically new character. You had all the different species that were in Jabba's palace. We got to see Yoda again.
The monkey lizard.
We got to see the monkey lizards. We got Ewoks instead of Wookiees because tall people are hard to find. So we got Ewoks instead of being on Kashyyyk, which I thought was pretty interesting. Neeb Nub, the co-pilot with Lando. The Mon Calamarians we got to see. We got to see we got to see a whole lot more variety than just humans or humanistic type beings, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, we did get to see a lot of different creatures and different species. I'm pretty sure this is the first time that we saw a Twi'lek.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you mentioned the Ewoks. I remember reading something about how originally that was supposed to be on Kashyyyk, and that was supposed to be Wookiees. So it is kind of interesting how that turned out.
Yeah, they couldn't find enough tall people to pull it off. So, but there were plenty of smaller people that were available to do that. And hey, because of that, we also got other movies such as Willow. It's I think it worked out well, and nearly everybody loves the Little Mermaid.
Yeah, it's funny, but the Ewoks are the only thing about Star Wars that my wife likes. I was at I think it was last weekend. I was at a mall, and they had the store called Box Lunch.
Yeah,
and I saw they had a Funko Pop of Wicket on sale. So I bought that for her.
Oh, cool.
And what are you looking at me like that for? I'm not waking you up.
I'm trying to think of I mean, well, that's like I said, this was my all-time favorite movie out of all the Star Wars, all 9 of them, the Skywalker saga. This is my favorite out of those. I really liked Rogue One as far as not being part of the actual saga, but still, to me, this is tops. It's the number 1 movie for me. Did you have any dislikes in this movie?
I'm probably going to get a lot of hate mail for this, but I didn't like the Ewoks.
Okay, fair.
I could have done without them. No, that's really it. There wasn't much to dislike about this movie.
Yeah, I have a couple.
Okay.
My favorite, but I still have a couple. So
before you jump into that, Megan has a question.
Yes.
And how did the Ewoks have a dress in Leia's size?
Well, you see, that's one of my dislikes.
Okay.
Yeah, it makes no sense that, I mean, she's a really good seamstress and just hey, we got this extra material running around, or you know, they were going to cook Han and Luke, so that's actually one of my dislikes. You know, hey, where'd that come from? You know, did they cook and eat somebody previously?
They ate somebody. Yeah. I think they ate somebody because it has been proven. It is canon that other humans were on Endor.
Yeah.
You remember the Caravan of Courage and Battle for Endor?
Yep.
Yeah. There were humans already. They probably ate one of those people.
Very, very well could have. I mean, I'm telling you, murder bears at their best. One of my other dislikes was Boba Fett going out like a complete punk.
Okay, yeah, I'll have to agree with you on that one. I didn't want to bring it up.
For a fierce warrior that he is, to get beat by a blind guy with a boat paddle, just really, to me, doesn't hold water. I think they could have done something a little bit better with it.
Yeah.
But you know, that's me just being picky.
No, I'll agree with you on that one. I'd really like to pick George's ear about that one and find out what was going through his mind, why he did that.
Yeah. I mean, about that. I mean, but to me, that's really about it. I have a few like fan theories, you know, that I you know, can throw around out there, you know, or we can get to that. How about favorite things? What are some of the things you really enjoyed about Return of the Jedi?
I really enjoyed the space battle at Endor. I really enjoyed the lightsaber duel between Luke and Vader. It's, in my opinion, one of the best of the series. And I had something else on the tip of my tongue, and now I forgot it. The speeder bikes going through the trees. I liked that sequence. That was really cool.
Yeah.
And then other than that, now that I know the backstory, I didn't so much care for it back when it first came out, but now that I know their backstory, I really like seeing the Royal Guards. Like, these guys are just kind of strutting around doing the thing, you know, acting all nonchalant. And you know that these guys are just badasses that you mess with them, you're going to get fucked up.
Yeah.
And then also, we finally we kind of got a really short glimpse in Empire, but we finally got to see this emperor that everybody was talking about. From day one in Star Wars New Hope, they keep mentioning this emperor, and you're like, well, why don't they ever show this guy? We
Right.
finally get to see him. So yeah, those are some of my favorite things about the movie. How about you?
Yeah. So my ultimate is Emperor. To me, he's just my favorite Star Wars. Absolutely love.
Lose you?
Hold it together.
You back?
If this is me, are we back?
Well, you were cutting out on me because I don't think it's on my end.
Is Steve froze?
No, I think it's you.
All right, hold on.
I can see you moving now.
Okay, yeah. I don't think that was me this time. It's still stable at full bars. Anyway, so yeah, the Emperor was just cool. His exchange with Luke on the bridge. Exchange where you know. I don't know what's going on here. My internet shows it's secure, but anyway,
I just see you freezing. But
okay.
Emperor, yeah, he had it.
That total exchange where he says your faith in, and I forget what Luke says is is your weakness, and the Emperor just turns and looks at him and says your faith in your friends is yours, and that's just like so cold. It's just so you finally see it, and he just oozes this charisma. It's like no wonder this guy's the Emperor. I mean, he's cool as a cucumber. But yeah, the space battle was amazing. How the Emperor allowed it to to come to pass, and he's the one who set the trap. And it's how can we not? What do you mean we're being jammed? How can they jam us if they don't know we're coming? And it's like, oh man, all right, well, now we got a fight on our hands. That was really cool. The big reveal that yes, Leia is Luke's sister was we got that the whole Obi-Wan spiel about hey, from a certain point of view, I was right this whole time, and but you didn't listen to me. It's I tried to protect you rather than give you the cold hard facts. There was just so much to like, and to me, the most important thing about the movie was the music. Scored so well that during the fight scenes, you felt like, oh man, you're sitting on the edge of the seat, not because of the imagery, but because of the music accompanying it. The music as they're going through on the speeder bike chases. I can still hear the Ewok music in my head with the little pan flutes, as when Darth Vader tells Luke that hey, if you won't turn to the dark side, maybe your sister will, and that music just swells and Luke just starts going, and you just feel all this emotion, and it's like, oh, this is just it's like movie magic at its greatest. And I mean, I love John Williams, but to me, this was the most complete soundtrack that he did for any of the movies for Star Wars. It was just absolutely incredible. You know, I did forget a dislike though.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
What
So
what was it?
so at the end of the movie, when the Death Star blows up and Han and Leia are together, and Han's like, "Oh, I'm sure Luke wasn't on there."
Yeah. Nope, I think we lost him again.
All right. So yeah, and he's, oh, I know Luke wasn't on there, and she kind of thinks or tries to senses that he's safe. And then Han's like, "Oh, you love him," and you know it's like, "Well, yeah, I do. He's my brother." And then he just has this look on his face, and I know in his mind he's like, "But you kissed him in Empire." So, you know, and it's like, what do you mean? You know, it's like, all right, you know, but, you know.
Yeah, it's like,
you know, rant over, you know.
Dang, Leia, you nasty.
Right? I mean, come on. But, but yeah, again, it's at least for me, it's hard to argue another movie is better than Return of the Jedi out of the series. A lot of people, you know, try, but they haven't won me over yet. Feel free to send me all the hate mail you want, or any of the reasons why another movie is better than Return of the Jedi. I will listen to it all, and then if I can be convinced, I can be convinced.
Rogue One
was a very good movie. It's possibly my top 3, but doesn't knock off the Return of the Jedi.
That one's my number one. That's my number one. Yeah. Actually, I'm not even sure where Return of the Jedi is on my ranking. I thought I did a ranking not too long ago. Maybe I don't remember where I put it. Off the top of my head, I would probably have to go. Okay, if we're just talking the Skywalker saga.
Yeah.
Not including any of the add-ons like Rogue One. Return it probably is number 3 for me, but it's a high number 3. I mean, three is a respectable number. That's that's saying that there's a whole bunch of other movies that were not as good.
Right. Yeah. 3 out of 9 isn't bad.
Exactly. But yeah, really good film. And actually it's funny because it was lower in my ranking before I went and saw it like a month or so ago. And I was like, all these feelings came back from, my youth. And it was just like, man, I've forgotten how good that movie is.
In fact, to me, it's actually it's slipping. It's still top spot, but it's close to losing its thing after the special editions. I loved the original. There's parts of it that Jedi Rock I can't stand.
You're talking about the song at Jabba's palace?
Yes. Yeah. The burping frog or whatever it is, animal that's at the beginning.
Yeah.
I don't like that. There's just
What do you think about the putting? What did you think about them putting Hayden Christensen's face?
I didn't like
on-
it.
Okay, yeah,
Didn't like it. To me, it made no sense. I don't mind that they restored him. Like in the original, it was an old guy,
yeah,
and as it should have been. I don't mind that they restored him because, the actor that was in the suit, was that Prowse? That when they took the
when they took the
mask
mask
off,
off, it was not David Prowse. It was oh man, I can't believe I have to go look this up. I know it wasn't David Prowse.
but it was the same guy that was in the
Sebastian. Sebastian. Crap. Sebastian something. Sebastian Shaw was the one that was in the mask. There was when he took the mask off. That's whose face it was. And that was the actor who originally played him in the Force Ghost scene. Yeah, I think they should have left that as it was.
Yeah. I mean, but other than that, celebrations on the other planets could have done without that extra song.
Yeah.
At the
So Spencer says that Return of the Jedi battles for second favorite with A New Hope. So, yeah. All right. Do we have anything else that we want to mention in regards to Return of the Jedi? Anything else that? Have you ever read the
I think we
novelization?
covered a lot.
I have not. I was just wondering if you've ever read the novelization of it.
Yep. My internet. I don't know if it's my internet or not, but yeah. Well, yes, I did read the novelization.
Okay, I have not read it, but what did you like it better than the film or about the same?
About the same. It added a few extra details to it, but it's kind of like Harry Potter movies. You can't put everything in, in the movie that you can put into a book. So they did very well with the adaptation. So yeah, it was good, but
yeah.
I still like what we got.
So speaking of books, the From a Certain Point of View, Return of the Jedi is going to be released on August 29th, if you didn't already know that. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yes.
Another thing that they need to do, actually with all of the original trilogy films, you know how the prequel films and the sequel films each have their own visual dictionary. None of the original films have their own.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's something that they should. I mean, they're probably not going to do it now because Disney doesn't care about the original trilogy. But I think that is something that they really should have done. They should have done a visual dictionary for each of the original trilogy films. I think there's a visual dictionary that covers all three. But of course it's not nearly as in depth because each one doesn't have its own film. That might actually be the one that I do not have of all of those visual dictionary books.
I'm trying to find mine.
Okay. I mean, you can get one on Amazon. but yeah, not each of the original trilogy films needs to get their own so that it can go more in depth. But you know,
Well, I had one. I don't know. Oh, wait. Let's see. Oh, no, sorry. This is an encyclopedia.
oh no, that's not the same thing.
So, yeah, it's the new essential guide to characters, weapons, technology, vehicles, and vessels.
Yeah, there's let's see, the visual dictionary. Yeah, you can get it on Amazon for the hardcover is $25, and it's called The Visual Dictionary of Star Wars Episodes 4, 5, and 6. I actually don't own that one, but I should probably get that one because it's the only one that I don't own. But they really should have one for each film. Anyway, so that is going to wrap things up for us tonight.
A little long tonight, but it's a well worth it topic. Who we got coming up after us? Or actually, they probably already started.
They probably already started. I think it's. I think we have WSTR Media, and I'm trying to find what the topic is today. Let's see. I know I was just looking at this. They're also doing a 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi.
Right. So if you didn't get enough with us,
then yeah, just stick around on YouTube and go to WSTR Media's channel and check them out. And they're going to talk about Return of the Jedi. I'm going to do it, so I want to hear what they have to say about it. But thanks everybody in the chat for coming and hanging out.
Yes, thank you,
and sharing your Thursday night with us while we talked about Return of the Jedi. Anything you want to end on?
May the force be with you.
All right, everybody have a great week, and we'll be back same time next week. Actually, I don't remember what our topic is, but keep an eye on the socials, and we'll keep an eye on the socials. We'll let you know. All right, have a good night.